Mr. President, China welcomes you presiding over this open meeting and thanks Secretary General Guterres and UNDP Associate Administrator Mr. Gatu for their briefings. China listened attentively to the statement made by UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador Ms. Blanchett. Lately, with the concerted efforts of the countries concerned, regional countries and UN agencies, there have been some positive developments in the resolution of Myanmar's Rakhine issue. In early August, Bangladesh and Myanmar held a ministerial meeting to discuss the implementation of the bilateral repatriation agreement. They reached consensus on questions such as verification forms and displaced persons at the border area, and set up a hotline between ministers. At present, Myanmar is prepared to receive the people who have fled to Bangladesh. Myanmar and Bangladesh received the visiting special envoy on Myanmar, Ms. Virginia, and held in-depth exchanges with her on the Rakhine issue. Myanmar agreed to have the Special Envoy's regional office in Naypyidaw. The office is already in operation. The Myanmar government signed an MOU with UNHCR and UNDP. The three parties have held 2 joint working group meetings and are preparing for a joint field visit. Recently, the Myanmar government also received visits by officials from UNHCR, UNDP, IOM, and the World Bank. The government and local people of Bangladesh have continued their massive humanitarian support to the displaced people in Bangladesh, made an effort to improve their living environment, and make proper arrangements to deal with the impacts of the rainy season and hurricanes. Myanmar has set up a widely representative independent commission of inquiry on the Rakhine issue and reached agreement on its terms of reference. The commission has already started its work. The Myanmar government is actively implementing the recommendations of the Advisory Commission on Rakhine State. Mr. President, both Myanmar and Bangladesh are friendly neighbors of China. China has always actively engaged with both countries to find a solution to the Rakhine issue through bilateral dialogues and consultations between the two countries. In late June, State Council and Foreign Minister of China, Mr. Wang Yi, had an informal meeting with the visiting Bangladesh Foreign Minister Ali and Myanmar Minister for the Office of the State Councillor Yun Koi Ting Sui. On the basis of the 3-phase solution proposed by China last year, namely cessation of hostilities, repatriation, and development, they reached 4-point principled consensus on the proper settlement of the Rakhine issue. First, efforts should be continued along the lines of the 3-phased proposals, namely cessation of hostilities, repatriation, and development, for quick improvement of the Rakhine situation. On this basis, Myanmar and Bangladesh should find a proper solution through bilateral consultations. It serves the fundamental interests of both countries and is conducive to regional peace and stability. Second, the most pressing task is to address the repatriation of the people who fled to Bangladesh. The two countries should take effective measures as soon as possible, take substantive steps to repatriate the first batch of people. Third, China, in accordance with the will of both countries, stands ready to provide further assistance to improve living and sheltering conditions of the people fleeing conflicts, including offering emergency supplies and building relevant infrastructure. Fourth, each side should leverage their respective advantages and strengthen development cooperation in the border areas of the two countries for the well-being of the people on the ground. China is now working closely with Myanmar and Bangladesh in implementing this principled consensus. Ambassador Sun Guoxiang, Special Envoy on Asian Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, made several visits to Myanmar and Bangladesh, and through in-depth communication on the Rakhine issue, promoted mutual confidence of the two sides and encouraged the resolution of the issue through bilateral channels. Mr. Sun also briefed Security Council members and the Secretariat on his mediation efforts in New York. China supports the work of Special Envoy Ms. Bergina, who visited China in the end of June at the invitation of China and carried out candid dialogues with China on the resolution of the Rakhine issue. China has provided humanitarian material assistance to both Myanmar and Bangladesh to help improve the living conditions of the displaced people. Mr. President, the Rakhine issue has complicated historical, ethnic, and religious contexts. The resolution requires long-term efforts through a gradual and persistent approach. Given the current situation, the international community should cherish the hard-earned progress and give full understanding to the great difficulties faced by countries concerned and continue to provide constructive assistance instead of simply putting pressure on them. The Rakhine issue should be properly addressed by Myanmar and Bangladesh through bilateral channels. The two countries should continue to solve issues that emerge from the implementation of the repatriation agreement through dialogue. The priority is to start the repatriation process as soon as possible as a first step forward. There should not be any precondition. Issues such as freedom of movement and citizenship should be solved gradually during the repatriation process. The UNHCR and UNDP should improve their coordination with the Myanmar government, overcome technical difficulties, avoid politicization, and implement in earnest the tripartite MOU. The international community should focus more attention on and provide more help to poverty eradication efforts at the local level to realize sustainable development, improve livelihood and economic and social conditions, and seek stability and harmonious coexistence of all ethnic groups. This is a fundamental way to solve the issues in the long term. China commends UNDP and the World Bank in their active work to help realize local development. We hope the international community continues to make contributions to the development of Myanmar and Bangladesh. Security Council members should continue to maintain its unity. UN entities should play their respective roles and improve coordination with Myanmar, Bangladesh, and other countries in the region. The international community should continue to be patient and promote dialogues between Myanmar and Bangladesh, facilitate the resolution of issues of practical significance, and realize the long-term peace and stability in the Rakhine State. Thank you, Mr. President.